I would see a lot of entrepreneurs, I would see a lot of people coming into a hotel, having a gala time, staying in rooms, and I would question myself, will I be on the other side or not? And if I want to be on the other side, I can't be on this side, because is this job giving me that value in life that I've wanted? I used to question myself very often. Everyone is serving a lasagna or a mixed sauce pasta or a white sauce pasta. What is it that you're, what approach that you're using? Is there something different that you're doing? Daniel Craig likes to eat grilled chicken with sauteed vegetables and some fried eggs.
So true.
Let me make a sandwich out of it. If your market research, any sort of market research tells you otherwise, then abstain from making such big investments, because cafes and restaurants require huge capital investments. It's not, it's very capital intensive. Their operational break-evens can take, in best case scenario, 6 to 12 months. And in case of big restaurants, it's even, over 2 years. And are you prepared for that kind of, burn? From India is creating phenomenal coffees, and I think people are not aware of that. But specialty coffee of India is way better than any other country. Just don't give up. Be relentless. Be besharam, but don't give up.
Welcome to the Collative Podcast, where we discuss success stories of startups who are disrupting the Indian ecosystem in terms of success and galore. Today on podcast, we have a very special guest who has been a hospitality professional, gave up his lucrative job with a big-time brand in the country and started his own startup journey from a restaurant to a big-time brand in the market, and has added another coffee brand to it. Let's welcome Kartik Harisinghaney, the co-founder of Bistro 37 and Habitat Coffee. So Kartik, now as we have you on board, so let's start with your journey. What Kartik is behind the mic?
So my journey, entrepreneur-wise, started in year 2014. But the thought and inception of getting into business and doing something of your own, this happened very long time back. And this is when I was in school, and we used to trade comics and here and there, and we were like, I'll go to Varanasi with my parents and I'll grab a comic book, and I know it was not available in the township that we were there. And what I would do is, we'll charge a small premium, 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 20 rupees. And we'll tell them, okay, you want to read the comics, give me this much. Or if you want to buy the comics, it's available. It's not 20 rupees, it's 40 rupees.
Diamond Comics and
Diamond Comics, exactly. Doga and also.
Doga and all, yes.
So, that was there. But, back in those days, you're so carefree and you're so, surrounded with friends that you don't give this a thought that, this is actually what you really want to do. And fortunately or unfortunately, I got some really good grades in back when I was there in 10th class. Scored wonderfully well in science and maths, and my dad was like, mera to beta ekdam heera hai. And we've come from a lineage of doctors in our family. My father is an engineer, but lot of doctors in the family. And he was like, you know what? You should become a doctor. But as a challenge, just with bio is not going to do, you take maths also. So now, taking bio and maths together, and CBSC was very tough at that point of time. So I was like riding in two boats. And I couldn't justify maths, I couldn't justify bio. Not because I was not good at studying and not good at the education that I got. I didn't want to become a doctor or an engineer. मेरे को थोड़ा सा खून दिखता था. I used to like fritter, खून दिख रहा है कैसे होगा. So back in my mind, I knew that I can't be a doctor. And being engineer was too mainstream. So what do you do with yourself? Never thought of it. I was head boy in the school. Lot of friends. So it's like, यार कुछ करना है, कुछ अलग करना है, क्या करना है. So my father didn't get a hint of it. But I was speaking to a lot of seniors, and I saw a couple of seniors who were working with hotels and they were doing wonderfully well. And the idea of moving away from India and going abroad, earning well, sort of, got me excited at that point of time. 2 months before my board exams in 12th, I tell my father that, Papa, you're filling all the forms, but, I'll be very sorry that I don't want to become a doctor or an engineer. So he's like, okay, fine. What do you want to do? I was like, Papa, I want to, do hotel management. And we are in a township of NTPC where in every household there's an engineer because it's a power plant township. So every household has an engineer. Father is an engineer or mother is an engineer. And he's very fine with that fact. He's like, why didn't you tell me this before? I'm fine. So post the 12th class, immediately in a day or two, we shifted to Noida. My dad got transferred. And I'm here and my father is like, without coaching and without knowing the format of, examinations of hotel management, how are you even going to give these exams? So like, okay, what do I do? So he's like, coaching है यहाँ पे, career launcher join करते हैं. So like, ठीक है, fine. But science background, you're very confident that ये तो mathematics and all these things are, what?
Basic हो जाएगा.
Basic, बहुत basic है यार. ये क्या है 2+5 ये वो बहुत सारी चीज़ें बहुत simple है because hotel management exams have not very tough mathematics and जो उनका वो quantitative qualitative test होता है, it's very simple. So I like, okay, पूसा का paper भरते हैं, this that, but I remember there's a career counselor who came to career launcher at that point of time, and we are about 20-25 of us in a class, and he's flipping slides on the projector and he's saying कि ये colleges हैं where you can apply. Should IHM Mumbai, very tough college. पूसा का एग्ज़ाम क्लियर करना पड़ेगा. IHM पूसा दिल्ली दिखाया, and then there is IHM Aurangabad on screen, and he's like, don't even think about this because 10,000 students apply for this college. I think
that's a Taj property.
Yes, affiliated with Taj.
Taj, yes.
And he's like, 10,000 students give interview and they select 50-60, so it's next to impossible. I got my challenge. I was like, why the hell did he say that? क्यों नहीं हो सकता ये?
So that gave you a kick.
क्या है? That gave me a kick. So I always wanted a kick, So I gave all the exams and fared really well in all the exams. And IHM Aurangabad, there's a written test first, then there's a group discussion, then there's an interview, and then they'll call you for an interview again. And I remember cracking that. And none of the other results matter to me. I told my dad, कोई एग्ज़ाम नहीं दूंगा, जाना यही है, टाइम वेस्ट होगा, तो मेरे पास 2 महीने हैं, 3 महीने हैं, चिल मारूंगा, जिम करूंगा, आई एम सेट. सो लाइक दे यार, यू शुड बिल्ड दैट कॉन्फिडेंस इन यू. आई वाज लाइक, बाबा, आई हैव क्रैक्ड दिस इज व्हाट आई वाज एस्पायरिंग फॉर, मैनिफेस्टिंग इन माय माइंड डे इन डे आउट, दैट दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू डू. इट्स लाइक, ओके, डन. So we enter IHM Aurangabad in September. That's when our batches began, and again, I was looking for that kick. And I remember clearly being in first year and talking with a couple of friends of mine, and they're like, ताज का कॉलेज है पर ताज में तो वो मिलती नहीं है जॉब यहाँ पे. There's a management training program जिसमें पूरा बैच अप्लाई करेगा. IHM औरंगाबाद से मुश्किल से they'll select 10-15 guys and ये तो टॉपर ही ले जाएंगे. Again, that kick is like, we have to start. And in first year got really depressed, because क्या करना पड़ रहा है, going to rooms of the hotels in internship and cleaning, and you're in room dining, taking food to guests, and that was a very different scenario, very different ecosystem. You've never been there, and on the outside, if you see, hotel management and the jobs that you're doing looks very glamorous.
So relatable because I also belong to a same industry. So
Nice, very
IHM
nice.
Mumbai for me, and even when I applied for hotel management, and the entire family. So my lineage is also all about doctors or engineers or
Wow.
people sitting at senior positions with the government of India, and they were like, "Ladka bawarchi banega."
Yeah, yeah,
This was a
happens.
very nominal Indian thought.
True,
So
true.
it happened. It happened.
And very true, Akshay. I mean, I remember there's a train that used to go from Delhi to Aurangabad, and that's the only train that goes by the name of Sachkhand Express.
Sachkhand Express.
And Sachkhand Express basically is a express which sort of takes you across India wherever the prominent gurudwaras are. And I remember a lot of Punjabi aunties and uncles traveling with us whenever we used to book tickets. And as soon as they would ask us, "Yeah, तुम लोग क्या करते हो?" तो we like, "We do hotel management." They'll take out a diary and a pen and they'll like, "यार हमको कुछ recipes बता दो." And how do you tell them that, "Oh, ma'am, we're not from culinary arts and we're from the management." For them, doesn't matter. It's like, you're doing hotel management.
बस वही बहुत है.
आपको किचन का पता होगा, आप मेरे को कुछ अलग रेसिपी बताओ. And at that point of time, you remember my mothers and everyone, they write down recipes. The knowledge was not as much available on internet like it is these days, that you don't need to keep notes. You just type on Google and you get everything.
Just for the matter, you just write a name of a recipe
Yes.
and YouTube will start cooking it next to you.
You ask Chat GPT, how do I cook butter chicken in 10 different ways, and Chat GPT is going to tell you, instead of
Can I lit
using
up the
this
gas?
haldi, you use that. So it was not like that. And I respect people for keeping that overview about people who do hotel management, because now if you see people not from the management background but from the culinary arts are doing so wonderfully well. And back then it would have been a stigma that to bawarchi ban raha hai, but today people are proud. They say that we are chefs. So what's wrong in that? And my chef who is working in Bistro 37 and Habitat, they're proud people here. I mean, not a lowly job as people consider. Any which way, so I remember back being in first year and aspiring to become a TMTP graduate, Taj Management Training Program
yes.
Graduate, and
It's like a
people
dream
telling
for
me-
many.
It's like a dream for many people telling us it's not possible. Then there's another one called OCLD, so that's from Oberoi.
Oberoi College of Learning and Development.
Yes, exactly. So you have these two options, and me, my roommates in college, with 3 roommates, we started preparing. Okay, second year onwards, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll build fantastic personalities, this and that. But the idea of working with Taj, that was exciting in the beginning. But back then also, I knew that someday I'll do something of my own. And I remember that very profoundly, because when I opened Bistro 37, I was like, this is something that I had in mind. And whenever I have something in mind, I take action. I work towards it. So this was there in my mind. So I cracked TMTP, and both my roommates also cracked TMTP, and we were very, very proud. But unfortunately, there was 2611, the year we got selected, and our joinings were delayed. And when your joining is delayed, you're confused what's
You're in
going
a
to
state of
happen to
dilemma.
you. And you didn't appear for any other, job posting, because you got the TMTP, right? And it was the best thing to do. I mean, you step out, let other batchmates of yours get jobs, because
You got the cream.
you got the cream. So, and then my father is like, you're going to be with Tata Group. They're not going to do anything to you. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you, it's going to turn out really well for you. And that happened. December, we joined our jobs, and got trained across multiple hotels of Taj. We did I did shadow manager in Taj Mount Road, Chennai. My first posting was as a duty manager in Vivanta by Taj MG Road in Bangalore. And I remember being in Bangalore and asking myself, why am I working here on a daily basis? Because you know, everyone works and everyone strives hard, and somewhere in between, I feel a lot of people give up. And I was one of those people that, I will not give up this idea that I will do something of my own. And is this job giving me that value in life that I've wanted? I used to question myself very often, and I was very rebellious.
And when did this happen? Like, when did this dilemma come into your mind?
This dilemma was, propelling every single year that I was spending as as an employee. Why? Because I would see a lot of entrepreneurs. I would see a lot of people coming into a hotel, having a gala time, staying in rooms, and I would question myself, will I be on the other side or not? And if I want to be on the other side, I can't be on this side, because if you have to be the guest, you have to do better than what you're doing right now. I started thinking there was a lot of disruption, volcanoes inside me. I was like, what should I do? What should I not do? There's no direction, not liking the work anymore. I remember there's a friend of mine in Noida. He is also from my school, and he's like, यार मिलते हैं, खाते हैं, पीते हैं. We're meeting very often with these people. Okay, and he's like, मेरे cousin का एक restaurant है छोटा सा. It's inside a society. He's taken a space. He's cooking some really wonderful Indian meals and all. Let's go there. And I remember going to the restaurant with my two partners who are there in business with me. I went there with them, and we saw a lot of people coming in, and I was very happy with the kind of vibe that they had created. And I was like, I just casually asked him, because we're friends, कि यार तो बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है रेस्टोरेंट, कितना सेल होता होगा यहाँ पे? एंड he's like, यार 10,000 तक हो जाती है, अभी तो स्टार्टिंग है. And I was like, 10,000 rupees sale in a day? He's like, हाँ यार, सुबह खोलते हैं 12 बजे, 3:30 बजे तक चलता है. Then we open at 7 o'clock again. And then we close at 10 o'clock at night. And this is how the restaurants used to function those days.
Those days, yes.
It's not like you're open from 9 o'clock in the morning, open till 2 o'clock at night. Those are the traditional restaurants. The format of working was also like that.
So you are in the year 2013-14.
2013. This is year 2013. And it's like, यार मेरी सैलरी क्या है यार? 35,000 rupees. मैं क्या कमा रहा हूँ दिन का? 1,000-1,200 रुपए. And from my calculation, if the restaurant is making 10,000, he's saying 10,000, must be bloody earning 15-20,000. So the owner must be taking home at least the 50% of it. This is a basic mathematics everyone does, in the mind.
And especially when you come from a hotel management background,
yes,
you do the reverse calculations.
Absolutely. यार costing इतनी होती होगी, ये इतना होता होगा, ये इतना होता है. Like, my God, yeah, this is such a big opportunity here. I was like, यार कुछ तो करना है. So with that guy also included, 5 of us, sorry, we started speaking, and it was like, करते हैं यार, कुछ अपना करते हैं. पर कमाया कितना है हमने? 2 of them said कि कुछ घर से ले लेंगे, कुछ कर लेंगे. I was like, नहीं यार, ये सही नहीं है. I remembering going home, breaking a WhatsApp group, and telling each and everyone कि कुछ करेंगे यार, don't let this idea just wash off, hold, and we'll do something. And we're talking, I'm taking my current partners, and there was a market called Tea Shop Market in Noida.
Who doesn't know Tea Shop in Noida?
Tea Shop Market in Noida, and we used to frequent that place on a daily basis.
That's like a regime for us also. Like, school still
love their iced teas. And I was, at that point of the time, that was the only shop in that market. Rest of the shops were like, यार कोई BSNL का कुछ है और कोई gas agency है. There's nothing else, just tea shop. People, students of Amity and nearby schools like DPS and all, they're frequenting that place just because they just want to hold that nice cup of iced tea, which was very cheap at that point of time. I remember $25-30. It's value for money, right? Pocket friendly. सब चिल मार रहे हैं एंड आई एम सिटिंग देयर एंड आई एम आस्किंग माई सेल्फ यार खाने का तो कुछ है ही नहीं यहाँ पे, कुछ मिल ही नहीं रहा है खाने को. तो एवरी डे विल गो देयर एंड वी विल बी लाइक यू नो वो ख्याली पुलाव बनेंगे, यार कुछ करना चाहिए यार यहाँ पे, कुछ खाने का करना चाहिए. But that visit to my friend's restaurant, that was the tip off point, you know, that okay, now we've identified this market. We were not looking at the entire spectrum of Noida or India like how founders are doing these days, you know, that we have to identify a gap in the market. We've identified a gap in that particular market, this small Godavari complex, कि यहाँ खाने को कुछ नहीं है, कुछ करना चाहिए. And that idea started growing on a daily basis. We were having a lot of conversation, what should we do, what we should not do. But I couldn't see that intent in my current partners that, you know, they want to do something. So it's like एक काम करते हैं, मेरा भाई IMI दिल्ली में पढ़ रहा है, reputed MBA college. We'll do a market research. So in hotel management, you do a restaurant project where you have to make a hypothetical restaurant and you have to do
a
everything.
research, proper research.
Yeah, proper research, right? And there's a marketing phase. First phase is called marketing phase, where you identify locations and you see the viability of the location and you see the viability of the idea of that particular cuisine or a restaurant that you are going to, you know, start in that market. So what I did at that point of time, which I feel was a very visionary move, seeing the current people who are opening takeaways and outlets, no one does that. So what we did, I asked my brother that I need 3 or 4 students from your college. I'm willing to pay them and they'll have to do a live project and this is what they have to do. I'll give them 4 markets. I've identified 4 markets, 2 in Delhi, 2 in Noida, and they'll have to be there, get questionnaires filled, and they have to make a marketing report for me. Everything, you know. You have to do a SWOT analysis of the competition. You have to talk to the owners also. You have to talk with the people coming into those markets and identify whether my idea was to start something in health food, you know, because there's a lot of buzz in Taj those days. Quinoa salad hai, or we'll make things oil free and all those shenanigans were happening in Taj.
And especially you were a health freak yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, I was a health freak at that point of time. So I was consumed with that idea, you know. But obviously you cannot just keep one idea. So I was like fast food also, this also, that also, chocolate sandwiches also. And surprisingly, the idea that we are thinking about, location wise, 3 locations failure. Report stated that if you opened, you'll be doomed. But with this complex where the tea shop is, you will be successful, but not with health food. People are looking for good replacement of McDonald's. It's like, yeah, this is completely opposite of what we are thinking. I was like, ठीक है, चलो सोचते हैं. But again, still not seeing that intent in my current partnership.
We've been quite emphasizing on the intent part of it.
Yes, so but I was consumed with that idea, right? Because मेरे को कुछ करना है यार, मैं नहीं कर सकता ये. And it's not because I was not excelling at what I did. I was doing fairly well. I mean, at that point of time, I was handling a cluster of hotels, so I was doing well. And I knew if I would have made my career out of it, I would have done really well. So in December 2013, I put in my papers.
How long did you serve Taj?
4.5 years. So
gratuity रह गई.
Yes, gratuity रह गई और मेरा A6 promotion एक होता है, level promotion, वो भी रह गया.
Oh.
So I mean, I don't really care, you know, because anyway, so I put in my papers and things got really serious. I posted my resignation कि मैंने resignation डाल दिया है, अब देखो. And these 2 of them are like, you know, यार कार्तिक यार तूने तो सही में यार resign डाल दिया. And the 4th guy, he was like, यार मैं तो नहीं कर पाऊंगा. So he was like up front.
He backed off.
कि जो मैं कर रहा हूँ, he backed off. So my 2 current partners, one said, I'm with you, I'm doing this. The other one at that point of time was in Qatar, and he was like, as soon as I come to India, we'll do something. So I remember we making trips to a lot of restaurants, cafes, and seeking for that inspiration. क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना है. MR कह रहा है कि सैंडविचेस, बर्गर्स खिलाओ. मन कह रहा था हेल्थ फूड खिलाओ. क्या करना है. दैट डायलेमा कि अपनी गट फीलिंग पे जाए, डेटा पे जाए. बट डेटा, I mean, I'll precisely tell each and everyone out there that don't go against data, because don't believe in God or not, but believe in data. So he's like, okay, we'll do something different. Now what is that USP चाहिए, business करना है, क्या नहीं करोगे. So I was like, while working in Taj Mansingh, I worked in this coffee shop called Machan. Legendary coffee shop.
People who know Delhi, they would know Machan.
Absolutely. And that restaurant, premium restaurant, right? At that point of time, coffee shop.
That also from an iconic property like Taj at Mansingh Road.
Yeah. So they were, they were turning around their tables 8 to 10 times in those days. And I remember them making 13 to 20 lakhs of sales in a day. Because obviously the prices are that high, but people are going to such restaurants. Right? At that point of time, India didn't have that kind of disposable income. In 2013 and 14, I still feel that was increasing, but not to that extent. So like, वहाँ का club sandwich है 1400 rupees का. Can I sell that in $100 here or not? So that was the question that I asked. And it was like, anywhere that we are going to have a burger, like in a McDonald's or any other cafe, comes with a generic coleslaw and a frozen patty, even till date. A lot of burger joints are coming in these days, but what are you going to do? Like, we'll make our own patties, we'll make something fresh, we'll cook every day, and we'll sell every day. So we thought gap है market में. Competition बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, and no one is doing this. No one is selling sandwiches. And those days sandwiches were like, coleslaw sandwich या वो खीरा टमाटर प्याज sandwich.
Bombay sandwich.
बस Bombay sandwich. That's it. People's spectrum of sandwich was like, sandwich क्या है यार, bread के बीच में कुछ भी लगाओ, खिला दो. So I remember in August 2014, we opened Bistro 37, Sector 37. And came up with only 14 items on the first day. 5-6 sandwiches, 2-3 burgers, some French fries, and nothing else. No beverages. Why no beverages? Because we got a hint from the market that people are loyalists of the tea shop, and they wouldn't really appreciate the idea of someone, competing with tea shop. Times are very different at that point of time. So we like, हम लोग competition नहीं करेंगे. Spoke to Captain Mehra and I told him that, please sir, आप ये मत समझना that we are, your competitors. We will definitely be, giving complimentary products, your beverages and our
sandwiches.
We'll
go hand in hand.
We'll go hand in hand. At that point of time, he was also very skeptical. Someone new is opening. No one in past 10 years has dared to step foot in this market, rubbish market. I made the whole market what it is today, and I was like, ठीक है, बच्चे हैं sir, हम करते हैं. So we got good, phenomenal response from the very first month. So that target of reaching 10,000 sales, जो मेरे दोस्त ने बताया, I remember cracking that in initial 15 days only. And then the kind of word of mouth that Bistro 37 created at that point of time, we gave inspiration to a lot of people to start their own businesses also. A lot of young guys coming in, because they would see, यार दो लड़के खड़े हैं, ठीक है, पोलो की ब्लैक शर्ट पहनते हैं, कैप पहनते हैं, क्या मस्त बात करते हैं यार, और सैंडविच में जितना मक्खन नहीं लगाते, हमें इतना मक्खन
ज़्यादा लगा रहे हैं.
तो we like, we our tagline at that point of time was, for amigos by amigos. So they used to consider, imagine me standing at the counter, 25-year-old, and giving sandwiches to exactly the same age of guys, and
So you would have a huge fan following.
Fan following. So I remember going to malls and अरे ये बिस्ट्रो वाले भैया हैं. So people were identifying me at that point of time, and in the initial 5 months only, Zomato at that point of time was just a listing platform, no deliveries. Deliveries, restaurants and cafes were doing on their own. So I remember in first 5 months only, we got our name in the Kick-Ass Burger collections of Zomato. And so award ceremony in Taj Palace.
Again,
Held by Zomato, and we got nominated. And I remember Cafe Delhi Heights winning the the whole award for Kick-Ass Burger collection. But we getting there in the first 5 months, that was a kick. I was like, yeah, we are doing something right.
ये तो मजेदार हो गया.
And sales are increasing. And then we realized that more than our burgers, sandwiches were creating a buzz. Why? Because we localized the sandwich. We were like, coleslaw sandwich ही क्यों करना है? Why just coleslaw, Why not something different inside a sandwich? Why not, something like a paneer tikka? Why not something... Sounds very
so
mainstream,
you guys
right?
wanted to create a buzz in the den.
Yes. And we managed that. And you know what? There was a very tricky thing that we did. We didn't name our sandwiches like a grilled chicken sandwich or a chicken patty burger or a mutton patty burger. We gave them a name. So even till date, every menu item on Bistro 37 has a name. So, for example, a grilled chicken sandwich with fried egg and sautéed vegetable is named as the DC special. Now, what is the DC special? DC special is Daniel Craig special. So, I remember reading Men's Health someday, and I was like, Daniel Craig likes to eat grilled chicken with sautéed vegetables and some fried eggs.
So true.
Let me make a sandwich out of it. Wonderfully well. I remember making a spicy as hell chicken from paste of green chilies and cheese and cream. We called it the Green Inferno. The chicken burger we named as the Gobbler. The double patty mutton burger was named after Humphrey Bogart. It was the Bogart. And we were like people coming to us and asking, "Yaar, what is Bogart?" And I tell them, see, वो पीछे एक poster लगा हुआ है. That's Humphrey Bogart. Yeah, so we named this burger after him. And the success point for me, I remember clearly, is when people used to come to us and used to tell us, "Yaar, we want the DC special." They were not saying we want a chicken sandwich. That means you have created
an impact.
You have created repeat guests also. Repeat clientele आ रहा है आपको. Why? Because they would have come and they would have asked you, right? We want a chicken sandwich, grilled chicken wala sandwich.
Burgers and sandwiches. Yeah. I'm hungry.
I'm sure if you have been to the tea shop market, you know Bistro 37 very well. So
I've also grown up in the same old zone. Like I am a complete Delhiite. Like I did my schooling from Vishavati.
Wow.
As I told you, like again hotel management. So all the things take me back into the time. Yes, when you mentioned about the Taj attacks, yes, I was a management trainee at Taj, but that during that time, industrial training we were happening.
Okay.
So, like luck by chance, I would have been like one of those victims, but again, God saved me. So I'm here taking your interview.
Thankful for that. Yeah.
And even for that matter, when you talk about Daniel Craig sandwich, so there's a saying like there's a Bond style martini.
Yeah.
Shaken not stirred. So
yes,
whenever I go to a bar, I generally tend to say it in style. Martini, shaken not stirred, the Bond style. So there are people who have kind of created an impact in your life.
True.
And you tend to repeat that impact again.
Yes.
And I think my audience would also agree to that. That impact which they had created in lives, you kind of tried to create it in a food part of it.
True.
And again, it gave it a blast.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be relatable again, right? I mean, your audience, is very young. Mm-hmm. What do they want? Do they just want a burger, or do they want some pun with that. So I remember naming one of my burger the Ramsay's. Ramsay's is
The Gordon Ramsay.
the Gordon Ramsay. Not the Gordon Ramsay. I was watching the Game of Thrones, and there's a very sinister villain in GOT called Ramsay.
Okay.
Very mean. One of the meanest character
In the
that I
entire
think in the entire series. And we named our burger after that because we wanted that burger to be very mean, double patty, paneer burger. Things will fall out when you eat that burger. Your hands will be messy. And I remember naming that burger after that.
Oh.
Then there was a age when everyone was playing PUBG, and there was a very good sniper gun called Car 8, and I remember naming a burger after that by the name of Car 37. So all these small things, I remember that made an impact on the market. And success points, I'll say a couple of things that we started. At that point of time, we felt that people are coming and they don't want to wait for their food, right? I mean, they want to give their order and they're like, we'll come back to you. So, or either people are waiting at the counter. There's a lot of waiting at that point of time. People are standing in queues, and we didn't want that. We wanted the crowd to, experience the vibe of the market. So at that point of time, I remember getting a landline phone, and I asked myself, I was the order taker and my partner was also the order taker. I was like, हम लोग ये काम करते हैं, सबके phone numbers लिखेंगे, order ready होगा, उनको call करेंगे. My God, I didn't realize such a basic thing will again blow up like anything. And all our Zomato reviews were like, yeah, look, these guys are, for their orders also, they're giving you a call. What a wonderful thing. And we do that till date. We don't send notifications. We don't send SMSs because you will not see a notification. You will not see an SMS. But if your phone rings, you'll definitely,
You'll have to answer that.
And we used to tell them, point on their face that, we are not going to give your numbers to any other agencies, or we are not going to send you any SMSs. And till date, we do that.
So you kind of maintain that as an SOP now.
Yeah, that's an SOP, and that's a promise that we as a brand made our customers, that we made to our customers, that aapko koi SMS nahi aayega. We'll just give you a call for your order. And that's an SOP, that's a USP, and people really enjoy that. They just come to the counter, place the order, and they just go away. So we manage the crowd also that ways. So Bistro 37 had a wonderful, stint, and we were, doing immensely well by the year 2016, and we were like, this crowd was just gaga about us, and the kind of sales that we were clocking at that point of time, I don't think even good restaurants clock such sales with such big facilities these days. And then COVID happened.
Oh, so which means for 5 years you ruled the market, I would say.
Yeah, we did. And there's a lot of people who got inspired, opened a lot of shops next to us. But still, I'll say we ruled that market.
So now if you talk about I think you opened up in 2014.
Yes.
COVID came in 1920, I would say.
Yes.
2020 March.
Yes.
So if you talk about 6 years plus, approximately 6 odd years for you to be ruling that market.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have seen people coming, seen people going, startups coming, startups going.
Obviously, as I said, a lot of competition also arose in that market, and we were there everywhere. There's a lot of people covering us in Times of India. There was The Week magazine, I remember, who covered us, and small snippets of me and my partners will be there everywhere, somewhere on Instagram or Facebook or everywhere. But I remember quite a few times when I used to visit my girlfriend. She was studying in Delhi University, Maharaja Agresane College.
Mayur Phase 1.
Yeah, Mayur Phase 1. And she's like, there's something very similar that has opened here. I was like, okay, chalo, we'll see what happens. And I remember clearly going to one outlet. That guy, that brand had completely chapofied our menu. I mean, if the DC special is written as the DC special, even the description is same. Everything is same. I mean, you're a founder. You're building something of your own.
But
Have
don't
that.
copy.
Don't no copy. It's another way of doing a business, copying a successful idea and getting some success from there. But be a little original. At least change the names and all these things. So I remember having this conversation with my dad, and he was like, when you see this is happening in the market, you should understand that you are successful.
You created an impact for
You
people.
have created an impact. You are successful when people are copying you, right? I mean, Adidas का भी बास हो जाता है, बहुत सारी चीजें हो जाती हैं.
But
That
DC
shows-
ही रहा.
DC रहा. So I clearly remember enjoying those couple of years with good success, and pre-COVID, we decided that now it's time for us to scale. We'll open a lot of outlets, and we have the kind of bandwidth that we want. We have the experience also, but what we'll have to do is our manufacturing of the food, the mise en place, what you call, like making of chicken patties and the stuffing of the sandwiches and all these things, has to happen in a separate facility.
So you mean to say the base, whatever the
Yes,
base product was?
Base product. So we created a base kitchen back in year 2019. And we took a whole building, and the ground floor was completely made as a kitchen. First floor was stores, and the third floor was rooms for my staff. Huge kitchen.
So from 2014 till 2017,
Yes.
there was no base kitchen.
There was no base kitchen. So we had one small shop in the front, and then we had taken two more shops at the back. And at that point of time, what we used to do was we were operational from morning 12 o'clock till night 11 o'clock. And 11 o'clock, there's another team who used to come into the kitchen, and the entire night they will prepare the
They'll
meals and
prepare for
pla-
the next day.
Yeah,
So
they'll
it was
prepare
like
for the next
prepare
day.
and sell.
Prepare and sell.
So that SOP was from the day
yes.
one. Prepare and sell only.
Prepare करो, sell करो, और कुछ चीज sold out हो जाती है तो just tell people that we
So-
don't have it.
Okay. So with nothing happening
Yes.
or following up for the next day.
Yes, and there's a feedback also from clients that we come from so far off places, and we are here to have your lamb burger, and we are here at 9 o'clock at night. You are 2 more operational hours, and you're saying that you don't have that burger available. And somewhere we also saw this as an opportunity to improve our operations and maximize on the sales and revenues that we are doing. So for that, we realized that we want a bigger space. But the company is bootstrapped, and we were operating to the best of our knowledge. And scaling is not a small task, right? You have to create teams, you have to create processes, you have to create procedures. And we were not getting that kind of time away from the counter so that we can do that. So me and my partner, we decided to, delegate a couple of things. And in order to grow the company, we realized that we'll have to move ourselves from the counter now. We'll have to keep cashiers, we'll have to keep managers, we'll have to keep assistant managers, supervisors who will supervise when we are not there. But if the brand has to grow, if it has to scale, and if it has to scale, money has to come from my pocket or from the investor's pocket. And at that point of time, we're like, no external investor. We'll do everything on our own because sales are phenomenal. And we created this base kitchen, and we remember buying good equipments, making it as per our absolute. There's a cold room, okay, there's a room for cutting and chopping of vegetables, and we
So you
still
had
have that
everything
kitchen
as per the hospitality standards.
as per the hospitality standards. We'll follow HACCP also. Every critical control point will be there. Receiving hoga to it will the receiving of the vegetables
As per the standard what's being set with the
absolutely.
vendor.
And we follow that till date also. And I feel operations become very cumbersome if you are the one who is operating all the while, and you're not able to delegate it in a proper manner. It all comes back to you, right? And in current scenario, people are very, very finicky about what they are eating from outside. At that point of time, it was not there, but we were ahead of our time, and we created that base kitchen. So our stores were following FIFO, LIFO, just-in-time inventory. Everything was there. But COVID, and that was one of the most major setback that I think all the industries at that point of time received.
Before we speak about the elephant in the room, which was the global pandemic, COVID.
Yeah.
So I'll go back to the same old inception stage of yours.
Yes.
You took that leap of a corporate life,
True.
jumped into a corporate, like an entrepreneurship jungle where you have to fight and survive. The
True.
fittest survive.
Yeah.
Every new day, a new challenge, a new animal coming across your way.
True.
So how was your highs and lows during that? Like, suppose you are into a kitchen, you were into one of the most prominent markets for the Gen Z or our generation for that matter, in that case, which was being visited by families, youngsters, school-going kids, people in any form of a relationship would visit that. It was like a temple for people in relationships.
True.
So any new business walking into that zone, how does that affect you, or the mental state or the stability you guys had in that market?
See, competition gives you opportunities. I'll say, taking classic example of tea shop only. I don't think their sales went low, right? We entered the market. We got the new clientele also. There's so much of buzz in Noida about Bistro 37, and obviously they also benefited from that, right? So if there's a competition that is coming in the market, and you know that you're proactive enough, and you know that your product is good, and you know that your standing in the market is phenomenal, I don't think that will matter. And what I keep telling people these days is, a lot of youngsters who come to me and they ask me कि we want to do business, sir, or कुछ करना है. What are the words of advice that you give us? I was like, I tell them that first of all, understand what kind of market you will be operating in. It's not necessary for you to read the entire market. जैसे शार्क टैंक में बोलते हैं कि मार्केट साइज क्या है क्या नहीं है. इफ़ यू आर नॉट एबल टू फोकस ऑन ऑल दोज थिंग्स, दे वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू रीड द मार्केट साइज. बट at a local level, if you're starting a very small business like ours, what is your USP, and what is it that your clients want from you? You cannot go to a Purani Delhi ka market and you start selling smash burgers there, right? What's going to happen to you? Not a product and market fit, right?
I would say if you're able to sell 10 burgers a day, consider that as an achievement.
But will it be good enough for you and your team to thrive? I'm not sure. Maybe the market study, if we do the market research and something else comes up, but you have to understand.
The morale might go down.
Yeah.
The morale, because in the end, morale is something which would keep you steady.
True. So I keep telling people that don't just jump into the market based on your gut feeling. Data. Get that data. Do some research. Unless you have that data, don't just jump into the market.
And how do we get that right authenticated data? Like, how do you get that?
Right authenticated data to start a business will come once you go there, you identify, you talk to people, you devise a small format where you know ki, okay, if this is the data that I am looking for, and if the market is saying this, then only I am going to fit into that. It's a generic, the most general thing a person does when they're starting a restaurant or a cafe business. And I see a lot of cafes making these kind of small mistakes. They just go to market and they're like, wow, wonderful, so many cafes nearby. इनका तो पाए बहुत बड़ा है,
खोल दो,
उसमें हम खोल लेंगे, थोड़ा सा हम सब में से ले लेंगे. And they don't come up with any USP, just a generic cafe. So many cafes these days are opening, and you're going to every cafe, and every cafe is serving the same kind of cuisine, same kind of dishes. Everyone is serving a lasagna or a mixed sauce pasta or a white sauce pasta. What is it that what approach that you're using? Is there something different that you're doing? is there something different that you're applying in that market so that you get a better share in that market? I think those are the things that we should dwell, and those are the things which are very important and should not underplay those factors. And if your market research, any sort of markets research tells you otherwise, then abstain from making such big investments, because cafes and restaurants require huge capital investments. It's not it's very capital intensive industry. You have to invest a lot. Their operational break evens can take, in best case scenario, 6 to 12 months, and in case of big restaurants it's even over 2 years. And are you prepared for that kind of burn from your pockets, or do you have multiple partners? Will you be earning that much or not? So dwell in these factors, I'll say, very important.
So now bistro is doing good, market is doing good, everyone's doing good for that matter. And suddenly comes the March of 2020.
Yes.
And the world changes overnight. Modi ji comes with a request.
Yeah.
City goes, the country goes into a state of lockdown.
I know.
How did that impact you? Be it monetary, or how did that impact you as a person? We'll talk about you first, and then we'll go to your brand.
I remember I was in March 2020 when this happened. I was in Goa, South Goa, having a gala time, and till that time there was a news that something has happened in Wuhan, China, and the company has gone. The country and some locales of China, they are under lockdown. And who would have thought that this would come to India? And yeah, obviously there were some cases being reported, but the severity of it is still cannot fathom, right? I mean, it was immense. I remember I am at the Goa airport taking a flight back, and people are wearing masks. I was like, why is it required? What happened? And we reached Delhi. People were wearing masks. Like, okay, there is some impact, and देखते हैं क्या होता है. I remember in exactly 15 days of me coming back from Goa, the sales dropped like anything. People started locking themselves up inside their homes, and it was a very depressing point. So I remember my team, everyone, talking together, and we like, everyday sales counts, rentals are very high. There's so many staff. At that point of time, we had about 45 people just working for Bistro 37. So, and there are bills to pay, and all of a sudden lockdown was announced for a day. It's like, ठीक है, एक दिन का है, करते हैं, बंद करते हैं, छुट्टी मनाओ सब लोग, weekly off ले लो. But then it got extended, and we as businessmen, we see optimism everywhere. It's not that you'll immediately get pessimistic views that ये तो बहुत लंबा चलेगा, कुछ backup plan बनाना पड़ेगा. No one had that backup plan. None. So I advise a couple of guys कि यार जाओ तुम लोग घर एक काम करो, छुट्टी मनाओ, एक हफ्ता यहाँ क्या ही करोगे. But in my base kitchen, I remember the team, there were a couple of guys who were like, I told them, यार अगर शुरू हो जाता है वापस तो आप लोग ये काम करो, 4-5 लोग हो, आप लोग, you stay here, you company accommodation है, stores हैं, they're full of राइस.
सर्वाइवल
है बहुत आराम से, पूरा सर्वाइवल किट है अपने पास, बिल्कुल बढ़िया किट है. बट दैट गॉट एक्सटेंडेड, आई मीन 1 month. एंड I remember speaking to the landlords and I tell them that, okay, we are doing this for a month. We're giving you the rentals, but will it be possible for you to, give us a waiver if this extends, because we have had 0 sales. Unfortunately, a lot of them didn't comply, and we had 2 outlets of Bistro 37 at that point of time. One was a proper dine-in cafe in Sector 104, and one was a normal cafe here in Sector 3751 was a whole building. And we saw money getting burnt on a daily basis, and we had There was a time that I was like, yaar, what's going to happen to us? Electricity bills are coming. Government is demanding almost twice the electricity bill, some advanced electricity bills. There are retainers to be paid, and there's some staff that you have to pay. How are we even going to survive from this? This is like, आप कहीं जा रहे हो, you are in an airplane, and suddenly both the engines fail. It's that kind of feeling, right? That you don't know where are you going to land. Are you going to land in the sea? Are you going to be on top of the mountain, or are you just going to?
Or the engine would again start.
Yeah, or the engine will again start. So you're nowhere. So I remember this was a very tough time, and the revenues that we had accumulated to open a lot of outlets, that got drained away. And again, when the whole thing started in September, I remember getting myself infected with COVID in the first wave. So I was at home, my partner was handling the operations and everything. It's like market will pick up यार, अभी थोड़ा सा आ रहा है, इतना नहीं आ रहा है, people are very scared, but market will pick up. हम लोग अपना deliveries और ये सब तो चालू रखते ही हैं, because we started delivering in August. मार्च से लेके बंद पड़ा है यार, अगस्त में कुछ तो करेंगे. We started delivering, and again December we picked up the pace, going in the right direction. Again we feel we are not even at 50% of what we are doing, but we are very optimistic कि हाँ चीज़ें ठीक हो जाएंगी. Second wave, that's like a nail in the coffin कि अब तो यार बिल्कुल क्या करेंगे. Then I remember we were bootstrapped. We don't have investors. The institution, what other institution do you have? You go to the banks and you ask for loans, right? Because all that money over the years that you have earned, the PAT, profit after tax, we never took that home. Me and my partners, we never took that home. We were of the thought that, we will invest that back. Let's keep a lot of money in the bank and liquid money. That liquid money, if I think of it right now, that is what, helped us survive through COVID. There's a lot of brands closed down at that point of time and couldn't recover from the losses that they had made. But we had that sort of money in the bank, so we recovered. But by the end of the second phase, we're like back to zero. Now, how do we start? What do we do? Will the footfall be same as before or not? And it took us a lot of time. We took loans. We, got good response from the market again. And touch wood, we've been doing wonderfully well at Bistro 37 ever since.
Okay, now when we talk about Bistro, you went to a peaks of the market where
yes,
who's who of the city knew who you were.
Absolutely.
Whether it's like Bistro wale bhaiya ho or the Bistro as a brand for that matter.
True.
COVID got you to the lowest of yours.
Yes.
Like the base of it where you just broke down. So when you were at your lowest, highest we know what Bistro is doing, when you were at your lowest, how did you cope up with your current mental state, and how did you cope up with the brand? Because your brand was not individually yours, you had your staff, members, everything. So how did you actually cope up during that time? Because what happens is when, especially for startups, they start up with a very high, but one flick and they are their lowest.
True.
So now, like with your experience, the new age startups might get to know something, might just take up a bit of it. That when you are at your lowest, how do you just make yourself stable, take a breath, and then jump off again?
See, personally, if you'll ask me, the sense of mortality hit me during COVID, right? And I was like, relationships are very important. Relationship with your parents, relationship with your spouse, relationship with your friends, they matter a lot. There's so many people who passed away in front of my eyes, got no help, no matter how equipped or how well endowed they were in terms of wealth and everything, but still they passed away. And that sense of mortality, that was a striking point for me. So I got that lesson that work-life balance has to be maintained. That was one thing. Second, when you are an entrepreneur, there's no one who is coming and giving you a pat on your back that you've done good, right? I mean, you're your own boss. You will not get validation directly from your boss or someone. There's no one above you, right? So how do you get that validation? You get that validation in terms of when your clients are speaking to you, when your guests are telling you how good your product is. Even during COVID, I remember getting phone calls from a couple of guests and they were like, यार मुझे तो ना किसी पे भरोसा नहीं है, मेरे को यार प्लीज़ सैंडविच खिला दो यार, आपके यहाँ पे आ जाओ, मैं फैमिली को लेके. लाइक या यार एब्सोल्युटली, बैकडोर से वी आर डूइंग सम डिलीवरीज. So that's the kind of validation that you want. And at the end of the day, when you're lying down, just remember that this is what you're working for, right? You're not working solely for money. A lot of people these days want to get into entrepreneurship just because they're not happy, they're not satisfied with the kind of work that you're doing. Understand, if you want to become a good entrepreneur, it's not because of the adversities that you're facing in your current scenario, it's because of the highs that you are enjoying in your current scenario. So for example, career wise, you're doing wonderfully well, you have a well settled family, you're getting promoted, you have good bank balance. It is then you will get that kind of success that you want. It's not when you're like, यार मेरे जॉब से कुछ मिल नहीं रहा है यार, सैचुरेशन आ गया यार, कुछ नया नहीं हो रहा है यार, क्या करूं यार, कुछ तो करना है. Don't think about getting into business with that kind of mindset. When you are at your highest, think then, because at that point of time you're manifesting positivity and you will get good results. So I feel for young entrepreneurs and founders, it's very important that mindset that you build before you start something of your own. It's like you self-coaching yourself. You are being the Rocky Balboa for yourself. Your mind is there and you're training it on a daily basis. Because I remember starting Bistro 37, and from a salary of about 45,000 that I was drawing in Taj, I remember first year I was taking nothing back home, zero. Second year we started taking 10,000 rupees. Now imagine what happens in 10,000 rupees, right? Just because we had those substantial savings, we were able to survive. But do you have that kind of guts, that kahunas that I'll jump into the market. I'll not simply think about profits and I'll make a big house and I'll buy a Merc and a Audi, and these things are byproducts if you're doing well. So yeah.
So now I would say this, what I could interpret is like, if you're enjoying your highs, better embrace your lows also for that matter.
Yes, embrace your lows and don't give up. Persistence, consistency, these are the things that you have to remember. And why you did it, that's very important. What was that factor initially that you had thought of? No, I wanted to get into this field. I wanted to do something of my own. I see a lot of people giving up in between. They face adversity for a couple of months and they're like, yeah, this is not meant for me. I was rather, I'd rather go back to my old format.
And they just give up.
Yeah, they just give up. Or they will expect too much out of their business that, ये वही बात है यार, that आप बागवान के क्या कहते हैं अमिताभ बच्चन हो और आपको लग रहा है कि आपके बच्चे आपके लिए सब करेंगे. Business is your child. You want your child to be nourished in those initial years and you want that child to grow up. And later on that child will take care of you, right?
So true.
Initial couple of years, it's 4 years old, 5 years old, you cannot imagine that child to take care of yourself. So if your mindset is frugal, तो मुझे लगता है हो सकता है कि आप सर्वाइव कर जाओ. इनिशियली वो फ्रूगैलिटी चाहिए आपको कि हाँ यार मैं यहाँ पे भी पैसे बचाऊंगा, मैं ये भी करूँगा. आई हैड अ ह्यूज फ्रेंड सर्कल एंड व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड बिस्ट्रो 37, एवरीवन वेंट अवे. because I was not going to those clubs to party, and I was not going on their weddings, or I was not going for the functions,
So you're trying to say every penny.
Every penny was. I remember my lowest point in life. I went to my father. I was like, Papa, मेरे को 1600 रुपए चाहिए, मेरे को फ़ोन का बिल भरना है. I didn't have 1600 rupees liquid in my bank account. And I remember driving back home and looking at couple of beggars, and I was like, इसके पास भी होंगे 1600 रुपए, मेरे पास नहीं है. So
this was
are you
COVID
ready for
phase
that?
1, phase 2?
No, not COVID. This
Acha.
is when I started Bistro 37.
Okay.
Those initial 1 or 2 years. COVID, personally, by then we were sorted. But company-wise, obviously,
So when did Bistro become an elder brother? When did Habitat come into the picture?
Habitat, we started ideating in 2021. And this is when I was experimenting with coffee. So, coffee in India, I feel, is phenomenon of the premiumization. Now, disposable incomes during COVID of the salaried class increased like anything, right? So, a lot of opportunities post-COVID, within COVID also, for people who are IT sector based, or finance sector.
Like work from home culture.
Work from home culture was there, and then got substantial raises, and the disposable incomes obviously sort of accelerated. Everyone had like money, and when you have money, you like to spend it, and when you're spending it, you want good things in life. So India is a teetotaler country. Everyone likes good tea, but coffee is an acquired taste. And everyone is experimenting with coffee these days, because everyone feels that this is some sort of luxury. Now you see a lot of people going to, why is Starbucks, completely choco-blanc every time that you're going. People are posting images of the cup that they're holding. People are going to Tim Hortons. They just want to tell people that, we are developing our taste, and coffee is something. It's like a luxury. So Habitat, when we wanted to start, we wanted to experiment with coffee, and at that point of time, I remember that normal coffee to nahi karni hai. This is something called specialty coffee. Specialty coffee is not just a term; it's it's like a certification you give to your coffee that there's a proper institution in US, SCAA, Specialty Coffee Association of America, that grades your coffee and tells you that if this coffee is graded 80% and above, that this is a phenomenal coffee. And almost all the brands that you see, the older brands, the second wave brands you see in the market, they are all using traded okayish coffee. And specialty coffee is a very recent phenomenon. So you see brands like Blue Tokai, you see brands like Sabco, they are all doing specialty coffee. Sleepy Owl, yes, to an extent. So we were like, we'll do something in specialty coffee. Now, if I want to do something in specialty coffee, first of all, I need to get that hang of that particular subject also, right? So I started experimenting with coffee. I started going to some local coffee shops, and I realized, yes, there is a lot of difference between the coffee these local coffee shops are serving, Blue Tokai is serving, and what a Starbucks is serving. This is very
completely
different, very different. I started enjoying coffee, and then in Bistro 37, it is a small stint where back in 2017, when we did specialty coffee for a while at Bistro 37, just to make some cappuccinos from an automatic machine. The brewers by the name of Billy Who, we took beans from them, we took machine from them, and started experimenting. At that point of time also, I understood that coffee will have a good potential in future. Maybe not now, but in future.
But who was the main brewmaster behind the Habitat? The brain behind the brewmaster?
I was the one who initiated this with my partners, that we have to do something.
Same old partners from?
Same old partners. I was like, let's do something. I'll do the groundwork. I'll study about it. But this time you guys invest more and you get more capital, and we'll do a good coffee shop.
So which means you had that zeal because the lion had taken a step back. So
Yes.
he was ready for a hunt.
So I was like, okay, Bistro 37 करेंगे, but एक और brand create करते हैं. Capability है, we have that experience, we understand how market works, and then I started getting into coffee, specialty coffee, reading about it, extraction of coffee. I was like, yeah, this is very, very technical. It's not as easy as I thought. कि जैसे फूड की रेसिपीज होती है, मास्टर द रेसिपी एंड यू coffee is very versatile. Every even 0.5 gram of coffee more in your cup, and that coffee will be absolutely different from
What the normal quantity is.
And then is like, okay, 5 सेकंड ज़्यादा एक्सट्रैक्शन हो गया तो बिल्कुल ही बेकार हो जाएगी, उसके लिए मिल्क भी अलग चाहिए. आई रिमेंबर फॉर आवर कैपुचिनो ट्राइंग एटलीस्ट 7 to 8 types of milk that are available in the market and still not getting that taste that I really wanted. So there was a lot of, study that I did on coffee. Met a lot of roasters also, understood, okay, what is roasting. Harvesting of coffee is also so important. The agriculture of coffee is very, very important.
So if you get a depth of it, starting from the soil to the temperature, to
Absolutely.
the region,
Absolutely.
what region it is coming from the world,
Yes.
it creates an impact.
Lot of impact. And then I realized that I don't want to do a specialty coffee from any other part of the world but India, because India is creating phenomenal coffees, and I think people are not aware of that, but specialty coffee of India is way better than any other country. Of certain states, definitely. So like, we'll go local, we'll do something, a product from India only. And then we were like, okay, specialty coffee कर रहे हैं तो एक तो machine से भी brew करना है, तो we want some good equipments. Then if we are specialty coffee, then हम लोगों को कुछ manual brews भी करने हैं. So the whole concept of working as a barista, hiring baristas was absolutely a new challenge for me. Yet at the same time, food wise, we didn't want to copy what we were doing at Bistro 37 here at Habitat. Now that was a challenge. You have to create a premium product that matches the premium beverage that you're serving, and that premium product, again, in people's mentality, comes from outside of India. Now here in coffee, you're doing everything that's coming from India, but to create a premium food wise product, you have to get 90% of the things which are coming from abroad. So conflicts, internal conflicts, क्या करें, कैसे करें, क्या करें, but finalized on the menu, worked with chef day in, day out. I remember introducing a lot of menu items inspired by where all I had traveled, and I was like, यार मैंने वहाँ कुछ try किया था और मेरे को अच्छा लगा था, तो यहाँ पे भी वो करके देखते हैं. Let's try that in the menu, right? And I'm very happy that it all panned out really well. I'll not say we were very successful from the very first day, but in the initial few months only, we realized that people are liking the product. And even till date, if you see, we are a 2-year-old brand at Habitat. On Google, we are 4.8, some 3,000 plus reviews, and 4.8 in 3,000 plus reviews is phenomenal. And we see then we had opportunity to manage 2 tangents with a company called the Executive Center. We are managing their specialty barista counters, and we are proud to be serving excellent coffee and their clients loving the coffee. So the validation that we wanted with Habitat, that's also there. Now we have 2 brands. Both have very different constructs. One is a takeaway and a delivery. The other one is a cafe-owned specialty coffee house. Now, how do you grow both the brands together?
My next question was that only, that where do we see both the brands going together, hand in hand or one behind the other?
Now, it's a conscious choice that the founders have to make, that do you want to be Elon Musk, handling 10 businesses together and doing well in all those 10 businesses, or you rather focus on one business first and then the second one? Bistro 37, we know, will be there very soon. And
At the place where you always wanted it to
yes,
be.
at the place where we always wanted. We've taken some time, but with traditional businesses, I think that's very common. I mean, everyone can't be on Shark Tank, right? Everyone can't have that kind of investors pumping in money, and everyone cannot develop that kind of mindset also. It's entrepreneurship has been too glorified on these platforms, and I feel it's having a positive impact, but there's a lot of negative impact also in the current founders.
So now when we talk about the negative impact, as per Chinese culture, it's being said yin and yang. So if I talk
Yeah.
about the positive highs of Bistro 47 and Havilad, yang is the fall part of it.
Yeah.
So we've till now we already discussed about your highs.
Yeah.
So there would have been falls in your life.
There are obviously.
So
yeah.
in terms of your entrepreneur journeys, would you like to give an example of a failure you had and how did you cope up from that? Because failures are the first step in learning, but how you cope up from a failure, because for startups again, if you have a failure, it gets into your head, you just give it off.
Yeah, I know.
So our concern out here would be, it's not like we want to know where did you fail ever in life, but yeah, as in your entrepreneur journey, any point where you failed, but how did you come out of it? Because we are more
Lot
concerned,
of
how did you come
failures.
out?
Lot of failures. Entrepreneurship is about counting those few successes, but people don't see to get that one success. There have been multiple failures that have that the entire brand and the founder and the entire family goes through. So most significant of them all was when the demonetization happened. Now, until that point of time, we were also in our comfort zone. We didn't have Paytm, we didn't have those swipe machines also. We just like cash do bhai. And all of a sudden, cash
रातों रात कैश चला गया.
cash chala gaya. Or people are coming with
2000 rupee note.
हाँ, वो 1000 rupee note लेके आ रहे हैं, and they're like, ये ले लो भैया, ये कर लो. I was like, yeah, what will I do with this 500 or 100 rupee 1000 rupee note? And they're like, यही है, अगर चाहिए तो ये है. So overnight we were like speaking to banks and कौन सी swiping machine लगाएं, क्या करें, कैसे करें. At that point of time also we remember जिस दिन announce हुआ था the evening demonetization was announced. That night we made fantastic sales. We were open till 3 o'clock in the morning, and people are coming with their 1000 rupee notes, and we're like, यार करो transaction करो. आगे क्या होने वाला है पता तो है नहीं. घर पे बैठे बैठे we were like, my God, क्या होने वाला है, कैसे होगा. But things pan out, and these are some setbacks environmentally for everyone. So these are the cases where कि हाँ ये हम मैनेज कर लेंगे. Environmental setbacks somehow you cope with, but then there are personal setbacks also. Like if you have a tiff with your girlfriend, and trust me,
a very touchy topic in that case.
If you have tiff with your girlfriend and you are at a point where your interpersonal relationships are not balanced, you will not operate well. So I will let it be a very temporary phenomenon, but don't continue that. अपना ego जेब में रख लो, जल्दी से make up things and focus on your business.
So make up things at both levels, girlfriend level as well as the professional level also.
Professional level also. Failure wise, COVID से बड़ा failure मेरे को लगता नहीं कुछ हमारे लिए हुआ है. Then we opened a small cloud kitchen in Rajouri Garden, and lack of MR. Again, in 3 months after paying heavy rentals, we realized that this market doesn't want our burgers and sandwiches. They want
Rajma
chicken
chawals,
tikkas and all these things. So we
typical
had to
West Delhi crowd.
That was a very big failure. Typical West Delhi crowd. So that was one failure. And in between, while we were operating back in year 2016, we had opened a sub brand of Bistro 37 by the name of the Patio, and we were like, the Patio. Yeah. So we like, पैसा बहुत कमा रहे हैं.
Heard of it.
तो एक काम करते हैं, similar क्या कहते हैं, offerings देंगे by Bistro 37 करके और shops ले लेते हैं. That failed miserably. lost a lot of money there. So because again, you're setting up a shop, there's a lease. You will invest in a lot of equipment. You'll invest in a lot of you'll hire a lot of team members, right?
Manpower.
So and overnight you cannot just tell them, right? That Tata नहीं चला बंद हो गया. ऐसे नहीं कर सकते.
It impacts your brand also.
Yeah, it impacts our brand. And at the end of the day, you know that you're a very fair guy to people, right? That you just don't terminate people. So those are a couple of things that I remember that where I failed in taking good decisions. But if I think about them now, those decisions, those failures were very important for me. In between, there were some compliance issues also with the labor department, and we remember missing a couple of small mistakes in the paperwork. And later on, I realized that rather than we doing this ourselves, we need agencies. This is something that has to be followed strictly, and we should not be doing this ourselves. Then I remember getting a new chartered accountant agency because the previous agency wasn't functioning well. Then I remember there's a person who wanted some advisory shares from us, and like, we'll give you good advice and all these things, but would have panned out well, but unfortunately that person fell ill. So failures matter a lot, and you learn from your failure so that you don't repeat them next time. And if you're repeating it, then you know that this is the mountain that you have to climb yourself only, because this is
You self-created that.
you've created yourself. So yeah, I mean, again, failures are important. Yeah.
So now with 2014 sitting in 2024, 10 years, 2 brands.
Yeah.
And again, the same old 3 musketeers running it across,
Yes.
disrupting the entire ecosystem of people around them and trying to make a mark in industry.
Yeah.
So, and like a few advices, not the generic ones which we give like a copyright thing, but
True.
from your experience, what advices would you give to the new entrepreneur setup? Because now when we talk about entrepreneurs, it could be Gen Z, college going students, 15, 16 years starting their own business, or someone like me, 30, 35 plus years age, now wants to get into the journey of that. So with your 10 years of experience, like what grind would you get out of it?
My first and the most foremost advice to people will be question yourself. People come and say that हमको कुछ अपना करना है. क्यों करना है? What's the logic behind it? Can you manage these things? I mean, not earning for 2 years, 3 years, pumping money like anything, and just waiting there. Ki someday we will arrive, and you don't know when that day is gonna come, and you might give up before that. You will end up spending your money, your parents' money, your hard-earned savings over the year. Are you ready to take that bet? Because unlike a lot of founders in the ecosystem who will tell you that data and all these things are important, while I also say that luck is also a factor. You have to be lucky, right, in some aspects. So ask yourself, karna kyun hai ye? Are you doing it for money? If you're doing it for money, then I'll say don't do it. Absolutely not. If you are not satisfied at your workplace और आपको लग रहा है यार यहाँ से तो मैं आगे कहीं जा नहीं रहा हूँ, don't do it. Because when you are at your lowest point, you will not enjoy being an entrepreneur. And the most important advice that I give people, if you feel कि आपके पास कोई skill set नहीं है, that you are lacking some skill set, but you feel, for example, a lot of people are opening cafes and restaurants these days. Why? Because everyone feels यार cooking is easy. पैसा है यार, 3-4 लोग मिलके 2-3 करोड़ लगा के कैफे खोलते हैं. देख पड़ोसी का कितना बढ़िया चल रहा है, व्हील क्या करना होगा, कुछ नहीं करना होगा. That's gonna fade away so fast you will not imagine. So if you have a skill that you have developed over years, if you have a passion, उसके ऊपर ही काम करो. Just work on that. Because if you're not passionate about something and you're entering that industry, Either you are very well seasoned, your family background is very strong, then only you are taking that decision. Otherwise, I don't think these things pan out a lot of time. So very important advice, don't jump into a territory that you're not aware of. Either study that territory very well, spend some years working in that territory. Right out of college and B school, just don't start the businesses. Get that experience in the market and then only start your entrepreneurial journey. And I think there's nothing more to it. When I say, you will have sleepless nights, you will miss your cousins' marriages, you will miss a lot of deadlines. If you are a perfectionist, you'll never be able to become a good businessman, because when you're starting a business, nothing is gonna go your way. Nothing is gonna be perfect, So if you're ready for all these things, and at the end of the day, even if you fail, and you can pat yourself on the back and you can tell yourself, yaar, maine ye kiya, I am happy and I'm proud of it, then only do it. It's a thankless journey. No one patting in your back. And if God forbid you fail, there will be entire society standing and telling you, देखा मैंने बोला था ना, I told you so. So you need the right kind of people, you need a lot of time, you need a lot of skill set, you need good education also. People सब बोलते हैं यार एक्सपीरियंस से काम चल जाएगा, एक्सपीरियंस से काम बनता है? नो, यू नीड एजुकेशन. If there's a huge correlation between your education and you becoming a good businessman. वो पहले वाला धंधा वाला जो काम करना था, वो इकोसिस्टम खत्म हो गया है. This is a new era. This is an era where AI is coming into being. This is an era where India is entering that phase of premiumization. This is an era where the government policies and your government is very radical and they know, कि हम लोग को पूरा सिस्टम चेंज करना है. ओल्ड सिस्टम एग्जिस्ट नहीं करेगा. Your consumers, your clients, your guests, they are very, very, they are very finicky. They are very discerning. They know what they want. And in this era, if you give them something substandard, you're not going to survive. So you need that education. If you're a pass out from IIT, IIMs, wonderful. 90% of the, the unicorns of India, if you will see, the pass outs of the founders have been passed out from either IIM or IIT. So there is a correlation. So keep that in mind. Education is also very important. Yeah, I think that's about it.
So now once, like if we see Bistro and Habitat at the pinnacle of success, anything new brewing?
Again, I like to keep myself excited all the time, and there are spans of comfort zones that I enjoy, but they don't last very long. There's something brewing in my mind, and I'm planning to take a step forward very soon. Hopefully you will get to hear about it also very soon. So means
again another disruption coming up.
I hope it will be that kind of disruption, because this plan is very different from what I've been doing over the years. I'll not do something very similar to what I have done, not in the same industry. But while I'm saying this, I'd like to emphasize on the point that excitement is necessary. There are things and there are activities that should keep you excited. So, having said that, you will definitely see me at a very different level in coming few years.
We would wish you all the success for all the new ventures you have.
Thank you so much.
Just the icing on the cake or the tipping point for this conversation. $1 million advice.
$1 million advice, never give up. Don't give up. Never give up. That journey from 0 to 1 and 1 to 100, that distance you cover from 0 to 1 and 1 to 100 is almost the same. And if you are giving up, you don't know how close to one you are when you are an entrepreneur. So don't give up. Just don't give up. Be relentless. Be besharam, but don't give up. If you have to go out there, beg for money also from your relatives and your parents, just be there and tell them that you have to trust me. That I will, I will do this. I'll make it to that point. Just be that besharam, just don't give up.
That resilience attitude has
Resilience is
the
the key to success, I feel. And time and again, after failing for hundreds and thousands of time over series of bad decisions that we have taken, I'll keep saying that again and again, that don't give up. Make those bad decisions, take those bad decisions, understand that you're not going to repeat them, but just hang on there.
Thank you, Karthik.
Great. Thank you so much.
Have a great one ahead.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
So this is the end for the conversation with Mr. Kartik Harisinghaney, the founder of Bistro 37 and Habitat Coffee. Hope you liked the content and the wisdom he has shared over the video. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to our channel for some more amazing content like this. And we would love to have your insights for the content if you want to hear something new from us. Thank you.